Discover the gripping story of the First Crusade. From the Byzantine Empire's desperate plea for help to the dramatic clash of cultures in the heart of Anatolia. Join us as we unravel the high-stakes journey of knights and peasants driven by faith, ambition, and the quest for redemption. Don't miss this epic historical adventure. During the Middle Ages, Europe and the Middle East were divided between Christian and Muslim states. Two were often at odds, frequently engaging in conflict. On the front lines of this struggle was the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire, a significant Christian power in the Eastern Mediterranean. However, in the 11th century, a formidable new threat emerged: the Seljuk Turks. Originally hailing from Central Asia, the Seljuk Turks migrated south, embraced Sunni Islam, and established a vast empire. In 1071, they dealt a severe blow to the Byzantine Empire at the Battle of Manzikert, leading to their conquest of most of Anatolia. Cities steeped in Christian history, such as Nicaea and Antioch, fell into Seljuk hands. Following the death of the great Seljuk Sultan Malik Shah in 1092, the empire began to fracture. This fragmentation opened the door to renewed Byzantine attacks as local warlords sought to expand their territory. In 1095, Byzantine Emperor Alexius I Comnenus made a desperate appeal to Pope Urban II for military assistance from Western Christians. While this wasn't the emperor's first request for help, it would yield unprecedented results. Pope Urban saw this plea as a prime opportunity, a chance to bridge the divide caused by the Great Schism between the Western and Eastern churches, to assert his authority over the unruly barons and bishops of Western Christendom, and to reclaim Jerusalem and other holy sites lost to Muslim rule 400 years prior. In Clermont, France, Pope Urban delivered a stirring sermon, clergy and noble, urging Christian knights and soldiers to journey east to assist their fellow Christians and liberate Jerusalem from Muslim control. He offered a remarkable spiritual incentive. Whoever for devotion alone, not for honor or money, goes to Jerusalem to liberate the Church of God can substitute this journey for all penance. By promising absolution for their sins through holy war, the Pope offered Europe's knights, who were troubled by their violent lives, a chance for redemption. Jerusalem, the most sacred city in medieval thought, captivated their imagination. Pope Urban's call to arms ignited fervor among his audience, responded with cries of Deus vult, Deus vult, God wills it. The Pope's appeal reverberated across Europe, sparking a wave of religious enthusiasm. Thousands of lords, knights, and common folk pledged to travel to the Holy Land and fight for Christ. They marked themselves with crosses, earning the title Crucisignatus, or Crusaders. While some sought fame and fortune in the East, the majority embarked on this arduous, costly, and dangerous journey in search of spiritual salvation. Pope Urban envisioned a crusade led by nobles, composed of knights and seasoned soldiers. However, the widespread success of his appeal drew many ordinary townsfolk and peasants, including a French priest named Peter the Hermit, who led the so-called People's Crusade. In the Rhineland, some crusaders, ruled by old prejudices and the rhetoric of holy war, attacked local Jewish communities, murdering about 5,000 and extorting money from those spared. These massacres were condemned by the church, but had little impact on halting the violence. By the summer of 1096, the People's Crusade, numbering between 20,000 and 40,000, moved eastward. The main force, led by Peter the Hermit, traveled along the Danube River. Ill-disciplined and poorly prepared, they faced severe shortages of food in Hungary, resorting to looting Christian settlements and pillaging Byzantine lands. When they reached Constantinople, Emperor Alexius I hastily transported them to Anatolia to rid himself of them. In enemy territory, lacking proper leadership and discipline, the People's Crusade was ambushed and annihilated by the Turk. Meanwhile, Europe's most powerful feudal lords set out for the Holy Land with their own well-equipped contingents. These included Godfrey of Bouillon and his brothers Eustace and Baldwin of Boulogne from Lorraine, Hugh of Vermandois, Robert of Flanders, Duke Robert of Normandy, Stephen of Blois, Count Raymond of Toulouse, and Norman lords Bohemond of Taranto and his nephew Tancred. Upon converging at Constantinople, they formed a massive army, perhaps 60,000 strong, the largest seen in Europe since the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Emperor Alexius had anticipated a small force of mercenaries to serve under Byzantine command, but the arrival of this vast army made him anxious and distrustful, especially with Bohemond of Taranto, who had a history of hostility towards Byzantium. Alexius provided the Crusaders with money, supplies, and guides, but only after their leaders pledged oaths of loyalty and agreed to return all Byzantine territories to the emperor. Once this was secured, they were ferried across the Bosphorus into Anatolia. The Crusaders, a formidable force with a significant number of armored knights, had to quickly adapt to the harsh climate, terrain, and the hit-and-run tactics of the Turkish forces. In their favor, the Islamic world and the great Seljuk Empire were divided, with Turkish governors fighting each other and the Shia Fatimids of Egypt. None were adequately prepared for the First Crusade or understood its strength and objectives. The Crusaders' first major success came with the capture of Nicaea after a 6-week siege. However, the city surrendered to the Byzantines, denying the Crusaders their anticipated spoils and straining relations further. Marching inland through intense summer heat, the Crusaders split into 2 columns, a vanguard led by Bohemond and a rearguard under Godfrey. Near Dorylaeum, Bohemond's vanguard was ambushed by the main Turkish army. The Crusaders, under heavy attack from all sides, struggled but held their line. Godfrey's rearguard arrived, and the Turks, threatened with encirclement, panicked and fled, resulting in a decisive victory for the Crusaders and allowing them to continue their advance across Anatolia. After defeating a small Turkish force at Heraclea, Crusaders faced severe logistical challenges, with many losing their baggage animals and running low on supplies. Baldwin of Boulogne and Tancred ventured into Cilicia, capturing Tarsus and other towns. Tancred later rejoined the main army, while Baldwin accepted an invitation from Armenian Christians to become Count of Edessa, establishing the First Crusader state. By October 1097, the remaining Crusaders reached Antioch. Here they faced dire conditions of disease, starvation, and encirclement by enemies, pushing them to the brink of disaster. Their survival would hinge on a miraculous turn of events. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the First Crusade. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating historical stories. Share your thoughts below and let us know what historical events you'd like to see next. Until next time, keep exploring the past.